Welcome to Balls and Brews, Pod 46. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Oh, no. Sorry. Barely got yours.
Oh, smell good.
Tastes good. Like, outside of
Oh, yeah, that's a West Coast
the
IPA,
hazy
baby.
West Coast is the IPAs I look for.
Yeah, I mean, what that traditionally means is exactly what it tastes like. It's going to be your hop forward. It's mango, passion fruit, and pine, they say, are the flavors. So just, okay, we'll back up a little bit. Revision Cryptic Love. It's a really cool can. Two like skeletons kissing on each other.
Yeah.
And some decorative makeup. Check out Instagram and X for those visuals. And that's a local Sparks / Reno brew. So shout out. We've had Revision on here a couple of times. They actually, this is more of a traditional Revision brew, would be a hoppy beer.
Always.
They've actually stepped into darker beers more recently that are phenomenal. We had, and we'll touch on this when we get into our beer notes for other stuff, but we had a stout from them, or a porter from them just last week that was magnificent. So, what do you guys get off of that? You get IPA, get the pine.
Yeah,
For sure, get the pine. Knew that was going to come through.
I get the pine a lot.
Do you get any of the fruit notes?
I don't know if I did the first time.
Hold on. Double sample. I'm gonna dip into. Here we go.
You kind of get that like tropical flavor, but
It's
not that strong.
Yeah, it's just a little bit.
I think it has more to do with the mouthfeel is directly like IPA, like related to hops. Like that's right up front. You do get a little bit, I guess, of any sort of like a blank citrus note, if you will, but I couldn't tell you that it was mango or passion fruit, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah,
It's very subtle.
Yes.
I still enjoy said beer. I don't want to say that it's bad. It drinks at a 6.8, so right on that IPA line, if you will. That's just about where they go. 6.5 to 7.5, I would say, is pretty regular for these. So in relation to sampling this beer in front of us, last night, Zach, you went to Brouhaha, or a local little beer festival, and I normally hit it with you, but this year I went to a concert, and we'll touch on that a little later. But give us some of the highlights of some of the beers that you tried there, and what you were able to find, and
Well,
review here.
always start out was first when we walk in. So it was Pigeon Head, and they had an IPA or Pilsner, so I went with their Pilsner. Just started out.
Really? Okay.
Just something
Easy.
Yeah.
Sure.
I figured I'd drink enough of the dark shit in the second. And what do you know? First fucking one we walk into is Lead Dog. So obviously peanut butter right there. Boom.
So
Can't help it.
You don't mind. Now, this is a point or a question for the audience here. If you go to a beer fest, do you drink the ones that you always like? You can get, Lead Dog peanut butter all day, every day. So,
But the other one I didn't. Whatever the other Lead Dog one was like a double IPA, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want that.
Yeah, no,
And
I can
then
understand that.
Next to that was Mammoth, and Mammoth always has
Double
double nut.
nut.
So I had one of those. And they also had a Pilsner there too. So I came back to that for an easy drinker later on.
Lead Dog merged with Mammoth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why they're right next to each other.
Right.
And
shout out to Mammoth Brewing. You wanted to talk about actually an amazing beer fest. Is their Palooza that I've gone down to a couple of years with my folks, and it's insane. Between the music is fantastic. It's in a beautiful venue. I'm sorry for sidebarring.
No, we went to something like that at Mammoth too one time.
Oh man, it's such a cool event. They get some really, really great artists to play, and like, if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I think blues music, if you're talking just a day drinking, I could have blues music on in the back all day. Because you can have different vibes to it. You can have the really grimy, like, she left me kind of blues, or you can have like an upbeat, like chugga kind of blues. Like, so it depends on whatever buzz you got, the blues will work. And paired with, I'm talking like 60 to 70 breweries that some of them make really specific beers for these. Now, did you find anything like that, like one-offs?
Well, there was a couple that you would have liked that we didn't try. They had there was a barrel. Somebody had a barrel aged. I was like, damn, Chuck would have loved that.
Was it 50/50? Was it the Eclipse?
Yep.
Oh yeah, dude.
They had the 2021 and the 2023.
I wait in line for that. That's one of those ones, Trev, that like while you're drinking it, you're back in line to go get another round of it. It goes. It's only going to be there. It's only going to be live for 45 minutes. Once people know it's tapped, they just go for it.
From 50/50, I did their hazy. It was fucking delicious.
It is.
I did this one from Belgian Beaver, Tropical Terps.
Okay.
It was fantastic. It was a hazy, but no fruit in it to make it hazy. It's the way that they do like the hops or whatever. The guy was telling us. I had a couple in, so I wasn't really paying attention. But one of my favorite ones came from Tone of Hot Brewing.
Shout.
Dude, Mounds of Love Pastry Stout, boys. They only 10%er. They only gave you a little bit because 10%er. They're not
Gotta spread
fucking.
it. Gotta spread the love.
Wow, it was so sweet. I was like, there is no way this motherfucker's 10% with how it tasted. It was easy drinking. The Fox was
not too heavy.
dude. It it's a one canner. You're not
Sure.
but yeah, well, you only get like that. So
Question. So in relation to the two pastry stouts, the one most recently, and then the one that we had that was so sweet. It was called heart-shaped box. Do you remember that
yeah,
one?
it was
that sweet.
It was like that. Sweet.
Okay, so that was, I mean, that really punched up the chocolate factor, and like that drank at like 11%. So
Yeah.
it was the same style.
It was absolutely delicious. And then Lost Coast was there with their peanut butter milk stout, which we were talking about actually last time on the pod about going to Brew Hall. I drank like 5 or 6 of them last time. This time I had 2. I only went back twice.
Sure.
Reserved.
I do like I had a couple more, but there was one beer, and I told Chuck
We gotta throw some shade. It sucks because let me say real quick. We as a panel, as a table here, do love to shoot. Okay.
Yes.
So this maybe was just a raw deal or a bad batch, but go ahead and give us
the Obsidian Stone.
Sad.
No, it's Obsidian Stout. It was fucking awful.
Sad.
It tasted like they crumbled rocks and dirt up and just put it in my glass. And I was the only one of the 3 that I went with that grabbed it, so I gave each other guy a drink just to make sure I wasn't fucking losing my mind. And they were like, "Dude, that's not good." And we've been drinking stouts all night. I drank peanut butter stouts, regular stouts, more peanut butter stouts,
Pastry style. Yeah.
So I mean, I was all stouted, and then I was like, I literally drank. Was it like walking and pounded my peanut butter from Lost Coast because I didn't want to miss this one. To rinse my glass, and then drink this Obsidian Stout. I was like, fuck,
And
this is
just rocks and booty.
just awful. But other than that, that was cool. But we had drank, also, let's talk about some of the beers we drank last weekend. So after pod, we did Championship Sunday at my house.
It was great. Yeah,
Yes.
excellent games. We're gonna go ahead and get into that a little later, but
Trev brought over Left Hand Milk Stout Nitro.
always a good one.
Fuck, so smooth, so delicious. And then he brought over a classic, the Alaskan Amber.
We've shouted that one out before for
They're
sure.
so super good. Just 2 great beers. And then Charlie brought over Brewdog Brewing in a mix pack. Great fucking mix pack, guys. If you see it, get it. There's a red, which was really good.
Thumbs up. Traditional red, very, very straightforward.
Yes, which I like.
Agreed.
I just
Don't mess with what works.
Right. The IPA, which is called Jackhammer.
Jackhammer.
That one my wife really liked. I didn't have it. Did you guys have that
It
IPA?
was much ado like this. Very straightforward West Coast IPA.
Yep. And then there was an espresso stout, which I thought was the best of the 4. I don't know what you guys thought.
What'd you think, Trev? I know you had one of those.
I shared one of those. It was good. It was good.
But you wouldn't say, okay, so like I know that one of your favorite stouts in that vein is the Irish stout by God, what's the one?
Fall River.
Thank you.
They were
What
there.
would you say was comparable?
No, because it wasn't on Nitro. Fall River's
makes
on
a
Nitro.
difference, yeah.
It makes you. I had
That's
one.
fair.
I had one of those there too. They were there.
How could you not?
I was like, oh, I gotta get
I
one.
know you too much. You're gonna see. Yep, that's it.
And then the last one was a chocolate cherry stout. It
That
was
one
good, but I wanted more.
I wanted more cherry.
Yeah.
I wanted more cherry when it's supposed to be balanced with only one singular fruit, and I don't get much of that singular fruit. I'm a little let down.
I think that the Fox Brewery, I think that their cherry was a little let down too. I had a cherry stout from them at
That's what you were saying. Yeah.
at Brouhaha last night. And I felt the same way. Maybe it's because I had this one last weekend that it was similar in the cherry flavor not being there. This one wasn't a chocolate, but yeah. You guys drink any beers over the week?
Over this here week, well, I had a really good mezcal last night before the show at La Condesa just down off of Wells over here. It's like a fusion style restaurant, I believe is what you would call it, because it's got a bunch of different kinds of food, and god damn was it all good. Fish tacos, I had a carbonara, my pop said his burger, and all the drinks were good, and Mezcal. What do you guys feel about mezcal? I know that you're not even a tequila guy, period, and you and I were shooting tequila not long ago. So
Yeah, I am drinking a mezcal. So.
yeah, I like a good smoky mezcal.
I do too. I hadn't tried one in forever. I finally had one, I think for the first time actually at Mexical.
That makes sense. Yeah,
My brother liked them. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll have one too.
yeah, right.
And it was good. I like the smokiness.
Yeah.
I get when I go to Mexico, I get Sol.
I love Sol, dude. I love that Mexican beer.
I just they're all in the same vein to me. Really.
I
I don't mind
do.
the Pacifico.
I like Pacifico. I love the margaritas.
Don't give me
I started drinking
a Corona.
I started drinking margaritas like the fucking.
I'll smack a Negro Modelo. I'll
Yeah,
pull
those
one of
are
those
good.
back real
Those
good.
are
Even
good.
a regular Modi's not terrible for a lager,
Yeah.
for a Mexican lager, I suppose.
Yeah.
But just Corona's fucking bad.
Did
dude.
you know that Modelo was like
It's
the most, like last year,
bought in beer
It's
because
like the
Bud
biggest-
Light had such a fall off?
biggest growing beer
Yeah.
in the world or
Sure.
something?
Because Bud Light nosedived, but Anheuser-Busch took an absolute shit dive, and like
Modelo.
Corona stayed steady, but Modelo had to come up big time.
There's like 90 Modelo taps in the Legion Stadium. Seriously, because like Modelo's like one of the big
And
supporters.
it's probably the sponsor. It doesn't
It
surprise
is.
me.
There's
Yeah.
like,
So every bar has probably like 5 to 7 taps. Or
yeah,
something.
because Josh, you know, works for the Modelo
Distributor,
distributor up
yeah,
here,
yeah.
so he was like, dude, they have like
Just acres of
hell
Modelo.
of taps.
and nowhere
It
else.
might not be 90 taps, but there's a lot of taps.
50 probably.
Yeah, there's
That's
ton,
a lot.
There's a ton of Modelo.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Let's jump into some sport news after all that beer news.
That was good, man. I like that beer talk, y'all. We want to hear from you. What have y'all been drinking? Give us
Yeah.
some beers, man. Maybe we can get some shouts on some shit we should try. Give us some suggestions. We've never had that before, right? That'd be cool as shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd drink something if somebody suggested it.
as long as it ain't no goddamn Corona, y'all make it. Come on, I don't mind spending a little bit of money. Throw us some mid to upper tier.
One more beer that we forgot to talk about.
What is that?
That beer that Josh brought over, that hot bullet.
Oh, that's
Magnum.
right. We did want to give that a shout out because of.
It's when you see, like the boys said, when we off pod, when you see Sierra Nevada and it says 9.5, you were thinking you're eating some fucking hops.
Oh, it says
Well,
hot bullet. It's like it puts
Yeah.
it forward. It's like it's gonna.
It was delicious. It was super
It was
easy.
It
Dude,
was very well balanced. Had a really good mouthfeel. That's what shocked me the most. Was like I was expecting it to be heavy because it was
Right.
9.5,
And it
and
wasn't.
it just was light and it
it was like the one we had.
like that fresh hop.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Born Yesterday.
Yeah,
Born
that's
Yesterday by Lagunitas. Shout out to that. That was a fucking good beer too.
Both of them like where you're like, dude, here we go, and it was like, oh, this is like super refreshing.
I can drink this.
Yeah. So let's jump into some NBA's talk, boys.
Man,
So-
it's been a wild week. We're coming into the All-Star break, right? So
Yeah.
that's good.
The scoring is still up.
Oh yeah, that ain't
what's
backing down.
his face went for another big number. Guy for the Mavericks, I'm at
Luka.
Luka had a huge number again after we talked about his 62.
He did 73.
Yes, after he did 73, he had another huge number after that. You're starting to hear other shows talking about the scoring being kind of ridiculous, like 145 to like 143 without overtime. Dude, that's way farther than 95 to 105.
Where's that defense?
To put that in perspective, that would be like a regular season 56 to 59 game in the NFL or some shit. Like
Yeah.
you see that once every decade, maybe
And it's-
fucking every 15 years, but in the NBA, that's a Wednesday.
Dude, it's
Like,
happening all the time.
That's too much, man. We all love points. Everybody who like watch team sports and where the objection is to score points, you do want to see a hefty amount of them scored. But when you're sacrificing the other side, like defense has to be played.
Especially in basketball, man. It's like not fun to watch basketball when it's just like
That's why the
Not
All-Star game has been devalued in a sense. It's just a glorified. They score like 200 points. They just shoot, just go out there and dap each other up and shoot here and whatever.
throwing
Like,
oops all the time.
yeah, like
The other big story right now, though, is this 65 game thing that which we praised. We loved it.
well, the NBA needed to do something to light a fire underneath these guys' asses that were putting up great stats, but only for 50 games a year. Like that's taking a third of the season off. Injury is different. I'm talking strictly load management guys. Like that's a disgrace. Like we talked about last pod with the idea of if you're on the road and this family saved up to come see your team play their team because you have the dude, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, so on and so forth. These guys, Hakeem Olajuwon, whatever you want to say, like, and sure, and if you're injured, man. Stay, rest, get healthy. But if you're ready to go, get the fuck out there and perform. That's your job, man.
So right now the big thing is that Embiid has got this knee thing going.
He's closing in on not being able to qualify.
And we talked, or I think it was last week, how he's just been kind of on a fucking tear. Like that whole team's been lighting up.
Another MVP worthy season for sure.
Which then he fucking in the fucking playoffs, dude.
Okay, then.
Like he was bad in the playoffs. And so
He kind of disappeared. He did the Harden-esque thing.
Yeah.
So, I got to bring it up.
We're bringing it up.
Shitlister Draymond Green on his podcast was talking about how he thought Embiid was pushing himself to be out there, and I just did not get that impression at all. Like, I believe Embiid could only miss 5 more games and wasn't going to be eligible for the award. And I really don't think, as nice as it would have been to win back to back, my impression, at least from the team this year, has been completely different than it was last year. Last year, it felt like...
That's why they made that coaching change. They
Yes.
needed a culture change.
And I think that's been the culture change.
agree.
The coach not having Harden, I feel like instead of focusing on the individual award, he's like, okay, we got a team now. Maybe we can do something this year in the playoffs.
Right, because I have a feeling Nurse is probably telling him, hey man, I know it's going to suck when you get disqualified for these things, but we have a shot here. Let's get you healthy. We have the fucking squad this year.
Yeah.
Trust in me. We've trusted in you. And, like, we can fucking do this, right? You got to sell the marathon, not the sprint.
Are they 3 or 4 in the East?
They're 3 right now.
Three,
Yeah.
They're holding out the
Celtics
chance
are in
that
front of them.
Embiid could come back. But to take it back to Draymond,
Shitlister.
yeah, and the reason that he's a shit roaster, because my impression of him is he doesn't care about anybody else. His play shows that. He's worried about players missing games as he's choking them out and kicking them in the junk. Like, he's such a,
His words don't and his actions don't match.
Yeah,
He says one thing, and then when he's on the court, he's a complete menace sometimes. And not in the, like, old school, I guess what we'd say like Patrick Ewing, David Robinson era, or like that '90s basketball, Larry Johnson, where they were hacking you during the plays.
Yeah.
As soon as the play was well, there were some fucking brawls. Don't get me wrong, but the vast majority of that was understood that it was during the play. They were heavy fouls, and then they moved upward and onward. Where Draymond does not fucking do that.
No, dude.
he just sounds like such a hypocrite to me.
I
Like,
agree.
his words ring hollow,
Shitlister.
and it made
That's
it
a great fucking guess.
even more so when he brought up losing out on the Defensive Player of the Year to Kawhi. And he brought up that Kawhi didn't play
The
65 games.
or whatever. Well, that was before it was instituted.
And
I
that just,
did remember hearing that. You only played like 51 games that year, or whatever.
and that's exactly why he's talking about it, because it's about him. It's always been
He
about him.
finds a way to circle
He
it
doesn't
back.
even fucking care about his teammates. He punches them in the face. Anyways,
Damn, dude, when it goes for real, let's get him, Trev. That's a fucking sidebar common sense if I ever done heard one.
and the thing about Kawhi is bullshit too, because I believe the years that
Kawhi's
Kawhi
a better
won the
defender.
Defensive Player of the
Kawhi's a
Year,
better defender.
yes, he is. And I believe he played 71 and 64. So, come on. He's acting like Kawhi. I believe he said Kawhi only played like 51
Yeah, he
games.
said that. That's
I'm
why
like,
I went.
you don't even know what you're talking
They're
about.
not going to give it to a dude that only plays 50.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
Not that one. They might give you like the scoring title or something of that nature.
You
But
if you
they're
have
not.
enough games or
They're not
shots
going
or
to give you a defensive player. Let's be real about that. The defensive player means you have to have grit. You have to be on the court. Like it's not a fancy award. That's a workmanship award. That's a dirty award. And to get one of those, you got to be the man. Shout out to GP.
you know who's going to be the Defensive Player of the Year this year?
Max Crosby.
The fucking sidelines.
The sidelines. What?
Yeah, in basketball, that's the only defense that there is if you go out of bounds.
Ain't no fucking defense, man.
140. Get out of here, dude. Yeah, that's bananas, dude. That's bananas.
Actually, to be real on that though, the Memphis Grizzlies, what's his name? God, he's been the only like shining spot because he's been healthy for him this year. He was it last year's defensive player? God damn it!
Well,
I'm gonna have to pull him.
Marcus Smart.
Well, we're talking about
Boston.
the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies did trade
Trade alert.
Steven Adams
Okay.
to the Rockets for Victor Oladipo.
Which
And
Oladipo's got to be pretty damn happy about that because he's kind of on the wrong side of his career and he's still got some juice, but
He's just got his body just kind of
gave out on him. He had them years where he had to really get healthy, and I think he knows that he's not the Oladipo of young, but he's still knowledgeable and still more than athletic enough to go down there and contribute to the Grizzlies. I think this is a really smart move.
I do
really do.
I do too. And if the Rockets are getting another big man, I guess if that's the way you want to play, but
The Rockets are
Steven
so
Adams is hurt.
bad.
Steven
The
Adams is
Rockets
hurt
are
right now
so
too.
bad.
So.
But the name I was trying to think of that I can't believe I couldn't come up with is Jaren Jackson.
Yes.
Oh yes. Okay.
He plays some defense. He's been the best player for the Grizzlies because of all the players they're missing. So
You know, okay, hey, can I sidebar within the
Let's do
NBA and just I'm thinking of shit listers because I was seeing some shit randomly and it was talking about this fucking guy. Dylan Brooks. Can we put him on the shit list?
He's fucking
Can we
on
put him
the
on the
shit
shit
list.
list? He's terrible.
Fuck
dude.
that
On the
guy.
list.
This guy, they're talking about, are you okay with his play style? It's like, yeah, if he was putting up 30, 35 and he's playing like that, then, okay, you got to swallow it a little bit. Homeboy's coming out averaging like 7 points, thinking
poking
that he's the
people in the-
fucking dude.
And mouthing LeBron coming down the court, dude. Who are you mouthing LeBron, dude? You're fucking the turd.
And it's spilled over for seasons now. It's
Dude,
been like he builds his fucking character off the back of that, and it's like you don't even average 10 points a fucking season, Jack. Like, what are we doing?
You know what? He's one of those dudes you need to put him on the shit list because he's not even worth being on any list.
damn. But I mean,
You're not wrong,
is
dude.
growing.
It should be, man.
And maybe another guy on the shit list. There's definitely another guy on the shit list. Perkins.
Oh, we were talking about him off pod, and he's an NBA name that. Okay, so this might be just the wheelbarrow pod, bro. We're bringing a lot of hate this first segment, but Kendrick Perkins, dude. I understand that you won that fucking chip, yeah, with the Lakers, and that was a hell of a team.
Celtics.
Yeah.
Celtics. I'm so sorry. That's what I
He was
meant.
on the fucking
I know. I meant to say Celtics. It was the Kevin Garnett. I'm way off. Rajon Rondo,
Paul
Pierce. Yeah, it was the big three
Ray
year.
Allen.
Yeah, Ray, my boy Jesus Shuttleworth, shout baby. That's one of my favorite NBA players of all time for sure. Of course I'm biased. But dude, like, okay, first, as I listen to my own voice, I'm a little cringy. I can understand that, but I can't literally listen to Kendrick Perkins' voice. Just his voice alone bothers me. Like, and then the points that are coming out of his mouth bothers me even more. Like, I turn off ESPN and NBA on ESPN. I wait for the game to start if I'm going to watch the NBA because I just can't. I can't. Shit lister for me, big time. And I don't know you personally, Perk. You might be a real good guy. I'm not trying to shit on your character, but as a fucking sportscaster, dude, just not there.
He was on my shit list the first time I put on that Celtics jersey, so it's just
Yay! Deep-seated rival.
Also with the NBA, Lakers, there's a LeBron cryptic tweet. There's the Paul, his agent, coming out saying they're not trading him. Like,
where would he go? I thought he
don't know.
wanted to retire in LA, Mr. Mogul.
I don't know. It's just another like
He'll
thing
get a
to deal
vodka
with.
or a whiskey or tequila soon.
They're just not playing good either. Like Trev said the other night, they went out and Reeves goes for 32, and they beat the Celtics with no AD and or LeBron. Yeah, no AD or LeBron. Dude, they had, and when you looked at the stat sheet, almost every dude played. You had, but Vanderbilt went down in the game, so
that's tough one.
but there was other dudes that like played and had good games. Like Rui went for 15, my boy, and then Reeves 32, and then I think soon to be traded D'Lo had 14 assists. I think he might have even been close to a triple double. He definitely double 16 and 14. I don't know if he had a bunch.
Has he been playing better consistently as of late? Is he still a candidate for the trade market?
Yeah, he's definitely the dude that's going if somebody's going.
I would almost rather trade for. And I know DeJounte Murray's been the one. I'd almost rather go back and get Caruso because we need some defense on the perimeter. And I think Caruso would bring the defense. And
he's just a scrapper. He's got a great baller mentality, right? Like,
I
like watching Caruso.
I would just like to bring him back to get a little more defense because right now, like LeBron's getting old. There's no defense. AD when he's on the court, he's one of the best defensive players. Talking about Jaren Jackson, if AD played enough games, he could go for defensive player. He like you see it in the playoffs last year going against the Warriors.
When he's peak AD, he's top 5 for
Oh.
sure. Like he's got the length.
He's got the range. He's like, it's
And-
just.
and he can hang with like guards too.
Sure, he's
you know?
quick enough. He's got good enough footwork. I agree, and he's long. You ain't gonna get out that fucking shot over him. No way.
So, it's just a bummer seeing the Lakers down like this again after we thought that they had one of the best off seasons. Well,
We like
Gabe,
the moves.
Gabe Vincent has been kind of hurt all year. I thought that was going to be a great
And
guy
then
coming off the
obviously
bench.
the rumblings have been, and I'm sure you guys have seen it as well, that like LeBron wants to fire. Ham,
Ham, dude, I'm
like
so
that
sick of
he's
that
on
shit.
the way
I think
out or
Ham's kind of a good
whatever.
coach. There were so many
I think
injuries.
it just really comes down to when anybody truly challenges LeBron, he says, "Get him out."
I know.
And I think Darvin Ham is trying to challenge him because he sees the inefficiencies on his team, and he's like, "You're supposed to be the fucking leader, LeBron, and this ain't going the way
Yeah.
that it's fucking supposed to."
And I hope Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka stick with Darvin Ham. I think he is a good coach. He had to move a lot of the things around at the beginning of the year because there's injuries, so he's trying to find the best 5 that work together.
I would say I'm the most of the LeBron defenders on this panel, but I even recognize the idea that LeBron is not what you think LeBron, like he's not peak LeBron by any means, right? You can't
Not the
ask
same guy.
out of him, no. You can't ask out of him what you were getting out of him 10, 12, 14 years ago. Like this team needs to accept that.
You didn't ask
What you could get out of him as far as cryptic tweets go, and
No. God damn it.
through a dark 30, and
Sidebar on the sidebar. We
uh,
got Zach
I
giggling.
fucking hate the cryptic tweets in general from fucking any player. Just not like seriously.
Anything cryptic period
I
from
fucking hate
anybody.
that
Just tell
shit.
me what the fuck you want me to know. If you're gonna put it out there confidently. Don't make me have to fucking read through the lines.
Dude, fucking for real, bro. Let's jump into some MLB talk, some positive talk since we just kind of
we dumped a lot of hate right there.
pretty big trade for the Orioles. Obviously, the Orioles sent over more like just kind of prospects over
Sure.
the Brewers, but the Orioles again returned to
big.
Corbin Burns,
Right.
and he won a Cy Young I think 2 years ago. We
Right.
put him down last year as one of those candidates,
Potential,
and he had a
right.
good year with the Brewers. This really puts the Orioles
If
just
he
another
returns to
spot,
form,
dude.
yeah.
Because the Yankees went out and got Soto. They the pitching staff's supposed to be healthy this year. The pitching staff wasn't healthy last year.
Garrett Cole's a fucking monster.
And he won the fucking Cy Young last
He's
year.
a fucking monster.
Aaron Jones, every time Aaron Jones played or Aaron Judge played last year, they were winning with Aaron Judge. He just got hurt. So if he stays healthy, dude, that outfield is fucking.
That fucking
Highlight of him running into the dugout wall and he just busts right through it
Dude.
and he catches the ball is one of my favorite highlights, dude. Like that's such a good. It sucks that you smashed your toe and that's
Yeah.
kind of what derailed your season, and I'm sorry about that part. But the highlight
Great.
itself is fucking amazing. It will live on in baseball infamy for a while, forever.
I hope he doesn't get hurt this year. I know.
Yeah, you don't want to see greatness get hurt, and he was just on his ascension. He had that crazy good year the year before.
And last year, I think he almost still had 100 RBIs and like
And
30
he only
something
played
points.
like half the games, right?
Yeah,
Give or take.
dude.
Yeah,
So, dude, I hope he's
your best ability is
availability.
availability.
Yeah.
You guys have been able to sneak that one in like for several pods in a row now because it's true.
There hasn't been. I'm just so bummed. We were talking about it earlier with the MLB this year. I'm just so bummed that the trade, or not the trade,
The
but
market's
like
been
the free
cold.
agency's just not been hot,
Cold.
man. And it's kind of a bummer.
I feel like I've been drinking this beer forever, and I'm
I
only
know.
halfway through it.
So let's
Pacing.
jump into the big news of the week, at least until we get to Championship Sunday. The last 2 vacancies were filled, and actually, the last 2 vacancies were filled. There's been some offensive coordinators
In
hiring.
the NFL, we're talking
Yeah,
about.
NFL
We're
coaches.
some NFL levels, for sure.
Some offensive coordinators were hired. Some offensive coordinators are backing out of deals. So there's been some defensive coordinators hired. Let's start with Washington first, so that we get Chuck some time with this.
I appreciate that. I thought it was a weird hiring.
I did too.
So it's Quinn. They hired
Dan
Quinn
Quinn.
away
From the Cowboys, and we interviewed him. I believe we gave him 2. So he must have been in heavy consideration. But continue on with the Commanders' point.
I think that they were shell shocked after Ben Johnson said no.
Well, apparently, did you guys see that he wanted too much money? Is what I heard. Was that his entrance offer was way above what the teams wanted to give him, and he did that because
Yeah.
he wanted to come back to the Lions.
Correct.
He did.
But
So,
Dude,
he
sidebar.
made it to where it was an offer that it's like, all right, like you have to give me
The
like
shit.
exactly. You have to give me a deal that it couldn't
Frame that a little
refuse.
better.
Dude,
I couldn't refuse.
Sidebar, congratulations, Detroit, getting your OC and your DC back.
Hey, man.
You guys are primed for another good year.
Same for the Texans.
Keep your heads up.
You're young.
Yep. Keep your head. Yeah, same for the Texans. Keep your heads up. We'll get to you guys in a little bit. But so I think they were shell shocked. I think that's what happened.
good
And then
take.
they were like, "Oh fuck, who do we have? We should have went after." And then the Dan Quinn was kind of maybe not the last dude left, but I think Mike McDonald probably already had his eye on Seattle. We'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah.
But that's what I think. I think that Dan Quinn was kind of they weren't going to go Bieniemy. Bieniemy is not going to get a job, dude. Maybe he'll be an offense coordinator somewhere.
Maybe you can get him. But Dan Quinn, just real quick.
Just come off now.
I'm sorry. So I don't think he was their first choice, but sometimes that works out for you.
It might.
You're taken away from the Cowboys. That defense is going to be a big
That is
project
big.
for
That is
Washington.
big.
So he has a lot on his plate, and I think
Yeah, 'cause
it could work out if he gets the right OC.
Well, because they dropped a bunch of talent. They contract dropped this year at the trade deadline. They ditched Montez Sweat.
Which had a great fucking
They
year.
ditched Chase Young.
Yeah.
Like, but they made a clear.
that defense was bad.
They were right. So they were making a clear decision at that point of the season. They knew which direction they were going to go. They were going to dump, and then they were going to bring in a new regime. And
And I mean, Dan Quinn's had success as a head
He's got a
coach.
Super Bowl.
That Super Bowl went bad,
College
but
championship.
he got him all the way there. He's hired good
Matt Ryan,
coaches.
college
For the
championship.
coaching staff in Atlanta was nuts.
it was.
Like if he can, he's
But
probably
you-
going to hire from that tree too.
One of the first things you said was they need to hit the home run on the OC.
Yes.
They have the second pick in the draft. They can't miss.
Dude, Dan Quinn misses on the OC, and they fucked this quarterback situation up. And I think you're getting, dude. I literally think that they're the three dudes: Caleb, Jaden, and Drake. Caleb's obviously number one, but dude, you're getting three dudes that I think
I was
I know
gonna say-
we've missed before. I think are going to be good.
Ratios say 1 out of the 3 should miss. That's just what the numbers say. Even 2 out of 3 if you think
That's
about
probably
percentages.
It's more
But
to it, but I really do.
I agree that I would rate all 3 of these prospects super high
You
right
could
now.
put these three prospects in high in every draft, and Caleb would be one in every. Like you could take a bunch of quarterback drafts. Caleb is going
And
to
the
be.
news out of Caleb camp is he doesn't want to go to Chicago. Are we going to see a John Elway move? I'll just go play baseball.
Or an Eli move or something. No, I would think that maybe Washington. Maybe now this gives Washington the trade up because we still don't know what Justin Fields is doing. So does Washington trade up to one?
Just like last offseason, that is very much a storyline going into this offseason. Is are the Bears going to lean into, because they kept the coaching staff,
Which traditionally means you're going to keep the quarterback or the important rooms. Yeah.
And letting Washington trade up, when you go from even 1 to 2, you still
get a
get
rack in the
picks.
hall.
you have to.
And then you just take
You
Marvin
have to.
Harrison. If you're keeping Fields, you just take Marvin Harrison at 2, and you're like, cool. I got DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison.
And next year's first round pick probably.
And yes.
So then, if I'm Washington, I hold the cards closer to my vest. I don't trade shit. I let them. If I think that they're not going to draft a quarterback, then
I would too, but that
You know what I
doesn't.
mean?
But
You're,
how many
you're
times?
running the risk of somebody jumping up there to get Caleb, and I
Yeah, you
get
can't
that
do
point.
that.
Because then you go get maybe now Washington.
Because you got
some-
the Carolina argument from last year where there's somebody from like 8-ish, 9-ish. The Raiders, hey now, you're not
I think
that
it's.
far. Be
I
13,
think it's
you're
too
13.
far. Yeah, it's too far.
Who's at 8? Who's at? There was somebody at 8
Falcons.
that needs a quarterback. Oof, that's the Falcons. Yo, you need to be hitting up those top end picks. I know the Patriots and the Commanders are probably not going to trade theirs. If anything, they're going to try to trade up for that quarterback. It all depends. This combine,
Unless Jared Mayo wants somebody else.
this
and he trades
combine is
back to
going to
get
be
picks.
so interesting to see how it
We're
changes boards.
so since we're sidebarring like a motherfucker here,
This whole pod is going to say.
this is a sidebar pod. Bo Nix not great at the Senior Bowl this week, boys.
London didn't have it that way for him. I didn't
And-
watch the game.
I didn't watch the game, but I haven't watched. I don't think it's today. But the
Oh,
practices, I love reading articles about Senior Bowl practices. I'm a draft junkie. I love that shit.
Well, it's one of those
Penix
things
is out
that
too.
Penix was there too.
He's
I think Penix is
Not playing in the Senior
oh,
Bowl.
he's not.
no.
Is he hurt?
No.
Just
He was there just to practice and hang out. Yeah.
You show off the arm, baby.
He had a pretty
I ain't
good.
taking no more hits. He knows he's going, bro.
He had
So
a
does Bo Nix, to be fair.
he had a pretty good practice. Bo said had some good throws, and then Bo was off a little bit. So Bo's stock went down a little bit, and the kid from Tulane stock went down a little bit. They said his ball dipped when he went to throw the long ball. So that means he doesn't really have the cannon.
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
But all right, let's get into the other hiring, and then we'll talk about some of the OCs and DCs. Chuck, give me. You go last.
Okay.
You go last. Trev, start off with what do you think of the Mike McDonald hiring and all that?
I think it makes sense. Listen.
Listen, I'm listening, dog. Give it to me.
The Ravens had one of the top defenses this year, and they played the Niners, they played the Dolphins, they played the Texans. I mean, in their own division, they have the Browns twice, yes, and the Bengals. Those are all McVay, Shanahan.
Fucking count, dude. They don't run a fucking offense.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about McVay, Shanahan disciples.
Sure.
So the familiarity and some of their best games were against them. So to have, if you're going to be in that division, it just makes a whole lot of sense.
To fucking Santa Clara and handle the Niners
So-
like, during the regular season.
So I think it's also a good hiring because of the fact that we like Pete. Pete's defenses haven't been very good in the last couple of years, and you're bringing in the defense guy when you have so much talent on defense. You could have two. You should have your two starting corners. You have your third corner. You have your safety. You have a lot of pieces on defense, and the defense line should be good. There is so much talent on that line, and it just hasn't been. Like we talked about killing it in the drafted defensive line. We talked about the kid coming from the Broncos. Chuck's always high on Shannon. Am I going to fuck that up?
Shannon Nwosu.
He's always high on that.
He
dude.
popped his pecs, so he was having a good season. Unfortunately, he got hurt, but he'll come back. He's under contract,
And
so
like-
he's coming back
and
next
like
year.
what
Chen
he-
is a beast.
And like what Team Money said, dude, look at how Patrick Queen was on the outs, and then Mike
I
McDonald
know.
comes in,
Ooh,
and dude, you get
that's
the
a
two best
great-
fucking
That's a
linebackers.
great point. That's a
Roquan,
great point.
Roquan was good with the Bears. The motherfuckers took him
But
right.
the Patrick Queen resurgence alone, we all knew Roquan was a beast.
Sidebar with Roquan, he was one pick away from being a Raider. You fucking
Mm,
Bears,
but he
you fucking
wasn't.
Bears. But he's not.
He's
So
fucking-
he was good. He's the best linebacker in football this year. Mike McDonald got the most out of that linebacking core. So
Which is nasty because we have Jordan Brooks and Bobby says he wants to come back for another year, so we'll throw him a veteran deal.
Trev, you got one more before we let Mr.
Okay, yeah,
Seahawks
'cause
go?
I'm gonna rip on it. Y'all are just touching on all these points. I'm trying to wait.
Hold it. I just Seattle was at their best with the Legion of Boom, and this is a move to try and recreate that. I believe the defense was a disappointment this year. We believe they have a lot of pieces on that team. Go for it, Chad.
Oh man, so thank you for shouting out the young talent because if you look at our roster, it's dripping. It just needs to pull together with that defensive cohesiveness. And McDonald's first hire was Leslie Frazier,
Good
and
hire.
we were
Yes.
To be his DC, who has also been a successful head coach. You know,
he got booted out of Minnesota, but still, like, he had some good years there. He formulated a really killer defense. So with a defensive-minded head coach and a good DC, now our OC is still undetermined. We're still shopping around for that, so it's a little questionable on that. But as far as the pieces that have been secured, I think it's fantastic. I think that having an older, weathered coach behind you to bump it, because McDonald is only 36. He's now the youngest head coach in the NFL. So I was making this point.
Brilliant defensively.
I was making this point to my folks last night as we were kind of touching on this topic about how I love Pete and look at Belichick doesn't have a job. Do you want to know why? Because these guys are left behind. They didn't develop with the NFL. I'm not saying that they don't have a good mind for football. They're motivators. They can get a lot out of their players. Like, that's not where Pete failed.
Since you brought Pete up and Belichick not getting hired,
on that.
sidebar of what is more surprising to you guys, Belichick, Vrabel, or Pete Carroll not getting hired? I was surprised that Vrabel wasn't the guy. I was so surprised Vrabel wasn't the Commander's guy.
just because of his age, just because he's in the prime of his
Yeah,
career,
yeah,
2 years removed
From winning Coach of the Year, like, it's very bizarre that he didn't get a job.
I was like, oh, Vrabel's going to be the Commander's guy.
I thought so too.
So sorry, Chuck. I read the minute.
No,
You brought up
that sidebar makes a lot of sense.
I want to continue that sidebar a little bit because Belichick's that big name that everybody would have thought of as that guy to get that hiring. But the last 3 years have shown that it wasn't ever the Patriot way. It was actually the Tom Brady way. And if Belichick got hired this cycle, I thought he was going to turn out to be like one of his coordinators that left for a head coaching job. It was going to be the same
Just a
thing.
failure.
Yep, it was going to be,
Well,
you leave Belichick and it doesn't work. No, you leave Brady and it doesn't work.
Well, we thought, that he said that little statement in, before he got fired by the Patriots or mutually left, that he would be willing to take less responsibility or give over the GM position. Well, the reason he get over the Falcons job is because he wanted all the fucking shit.
The only job he had an interview with that
Yes.
we know of.
Well, yeah, because Arthur Blank wanted
The
to give-
Commanders hit him
Arthur
up.
Blank wanted to give him the job.
Commanders
he
hit him up.
did.
Yep.
But then it was the front office that came in and said, no,
Like Blank, you're getting your wool pulled over your eyes. You don't be Jerry Jones.
The Eagles, the Eagles said, I saw an article, a report, because it's not, you're never going to know, that if Nick Sirianni didn't remove the coordinators and redo his coaching staff, that they kind of told Doug Peterson to do so many years ago and Doug didn't do it, that Sirianni was out and they were going to be looking at Belichick to bring in.
The coordinators were miserable. They were waffling from start to finish. They pulled together and won some games early in the season, and then when what they call meaningful football really came into play, they struggled. But I guess
we have sidebarred, which is great, and I think all that discussion is wonderful and definitely needs to be touched on. But
Go ahead and finish your
overall,
we are hyper young on defense. We have hit on these prospects. If Tyreek, you know what it is? You know what it is, and we say, okay, we watch this in every football game. It's an SC problem. It's tackling.
Mm-hmm.
We have speed. We have scheme. We cannot tackle. We put ourselves in the right spot, and then we blow open field tackles all the fucking time. If we can minimize our broken tackle rate, we're there. We're young. We have speed. We have a good scheme. It might change.
Who's the safety you went and got in free agency that we like?
Julian Love, baby. He's a stud. He had those 2 picks against Philly that helped us win that game and stay in playoffs at that time. The playoff contention, anyway. Julian Love, we have pieces everywhere.
Who's the
Quandre
safety
Diggs
we hate?
is still under. Oh, well, Jamal Adams is out. He's out. I don't hate him.
Is he finally a free agent?
No. Well, he's still under contract. We gave him an extension only 2 years ago.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
We don't have any more guaranteed money on the books. So
Okay. Cut bait.
Because we're not going to get a trade. We might get a trade for him, maybe, but doubtful.
Yeah,
but
he's having up on tape in
he's
the
either
last
going to
one.
be cut or traded for a low-end pick if we're lucky.
And that's just how that experiment's going to go. It sucks. You're going to have to just swallow that one. I don't mind swinging for the fences, and Petey was a secondary guy, and Jamal was young and explosive, and I thought we overpaid for him, but if he worked, then excellent. It just didn't work. Upward and onward.
Well, he was hurt a lot, and he wasn't a cover safety.
No, not at all. He's
He's
in the box safety, exactly.
He's a blitzer. He's a running back.
I think Pete saw shades of Cam Chancellor in it, and was like, hey, here it is, because you just touched on Legion of Boom. That's of course that's my favorite era of Seahawks football. Are you fucking kidding me? Earl Thomas is my fucking boy. I wish it didn't end so sour with him.
I understand why he was pissed at the organization. Yeah, he put everything on the line for him, and we strung him along.
His whole career kind of ended sourly.
It did. We went to the Ravens, and then we won't get into all the bullshit that happened there. But yeah, he ended up being a really big diva.
He kind of screwed himself out. But those prime early years, oh my god. But
overall, big time hope in Seattle. Love the moves that have so far happened. We'll see what happens with the OC. But from a Seahawk fan, and I think anybody who's listening who may or may not be a Seahawk fan, you should definitely be feeling the tingles about it. The sidebar was about what I wanted to say was that the game left the old heads behind. It's changing, and they did not adapt. It was clear to see. I love Pete. I'm not shitting on you, bro, but it was clear as day. It was clear as day. You couldn't keep up with how fast the NFL was evolving anymore. The players are different. The schemes are different. Your energy in the locker room and your ability to lead is unquestioned. I'm not saying you're not a great leader, a great motivator, but your schematics and who you brought in as your OCs and DCs didn't work for years. Schottenheimer was terrible. Waldron was good to okay. And our defense has been boo-boo. So this teardown makes so much sense to me staff-wise. And I'm sorry, Pete. I love you. But I also really, really like this decision because now we gave him a 6-year contract. Schneider's not going anywhere. GM's locked in. We are ready to maneuver. I'm curious to see what we do with our first-round pick.
I'm curious to see if we go defense with now a defensive-minded head coach, or if he makes the idea to, hey, we could swing one of these, like, you know.
Or tackle. I'm really bummed about the kid coach.
It's Lucas. Abe Lucas has a degenerative knee
I
issue.
really don't
He's got
know.
a Kawhi situation going on, which is super
Loved
unfortunate.
him coming out, man. I told you I love that pick and draft him. I'm really bummed
No, because
about
we got
that
him in
kid.
the 3rd round.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, we.
Bummed about that
Charles
guy.
Cross missed a couple of games this year, but he's been relatively healthy. He's been healthy overall for the 2 years. So, no, okay. Wrapping a pretty bow on it. Keep up the good work, Seattle. I think that Schneider is doing what he needs to do to put together a staff underneath him that's going to be quite, useful, especially in the fucking NFC West that looks to only be getting better.
There's a
You
couple.
got to have some defense to stop Kyler, to stop Brock, to stop. God damn it, Stafford right now is currently
Stafford at 5.
Dude, him and Puka are fucking. If they come back healthy, next year could be. We need them secondaries. We need that secondary.
Dude, we talked about that they have.
Hufunga's got to come back for the Niners.
We talked about literally how the Rams and Packers are just kind of a scary team coming forward because how young they are.
Their pendulum can swing either way.
Dude,
They
it's
still,
like, yeah.
if it continues up,
Dude,
oh my
get the,
god, it's terrifying.
out of both those teams' way, get the fuck out of here.
The only difference is the Packers have a young quarterback, and the Rams are gonna.
They're going to need to draft one.
I do like Stafford.
I'm not as big of a Stafford stan as you are, sir, but like he's on the wrong side of 30, so it's gonna have to turn on quarterback. But outside of that, that roster is getting there, dude.
There's a couple offensive/defensive coordinators like to mention real quick. We'll get into the one other thing we mentioned at fandom. I got to change my fucking fandom now.
There was a
But
breaking news alert.
I think that we thought Kellen Moore to the Chargers last year was going to be a home run. And
How could it not have been? And it just wasn't.
And it wasn't. So then he gets on with the Eagles. Do you guys think that he was just a weird miss at the Chargers, or is Kellen Moore going to come in and kind of save Sirianni and Jalen Hurts' job? Because that's what it is, right? I mean, if they don't perform, you got to look at quarterback and coach first.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be, I think, Belichick's shadow for both the Eagles and the Cowboys with their coaches on the hot seat with how the teams going forward. But Kellen Moore, I was a little disappointed. I put some of that on Staley because he was just that guy.
Fucking awful.
He was fucking awful. He's fucking awful.
We were down on him for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
2 full seasons, pretty much. There was no,
if not 3.
But it makes me question Kellen Moore if he was the right hire for Philly. Well, we're gonna have to wait to find out. But I don't know.
Charlie?
I think I understand the swing from Philly because he is only a year removed from being a super hot coaching candidate. And it's crazy to think that he couldn't do the things that we thought he could with Justin Herbert. That offensive line was fair. Their running back room was a lot less than we thought it was going to be. So that never helps a quarterback. The wide receivers, like you said, are old and hurt, or, it's not the same crew that he was playing with there.
At least he has familiarity in the division.
Sorry.
You're good. I think that I get it from Philly. I would also be weary, but he could pop. He could come in there and he could do exactly what we thought he was going to do last season. Jalen Hurts just needs to understand that he doesn't need to be Superman for this team to be successful.
Do you think it's weird that they went with an offensive coordinator that's never had a running quarterback?
That's a good question. No, because I still think that even though Hurts does run the ball and they have very designed run plays for him to do that, I think they need to develop him as a passer, and I think that you bring in a quarterback to do that.
And both Herbert and Prescott are mobile quarterbacks. They don't really get put in that category, but they've both done a good job picking up first downs when it comes to that role.
It's a lot like Mr. Steve Young, Actually, up until Cam Newton, Steve Young was the
leading quarterback.
Which is crazy. His highlights are bonkers, and you would not think of some of them fucking runs.
Steve Young has slaughtered it in this generation.
What I'm saying though is sneaky good legs, and I think Herbert has sneaky good legs. He uses them when he has to. He understands that his arm and his head are his best weapons, so he only uses his legs when he has to. He can move. He can stride, dude. The guy's 6'5". He can move. There's no doubt about it. But he's not. They don't draw QB powers with Herbert the same way they do with
Joshy.
Allen or Hurts or Lamar, obviously.
But it's not that he can't move the pocket and get upfield. There's nothing wrong with that.
There was a DC. It wasn't a big hiring, but I think it's sneaky, and I like the quote that came out of it. So the Packers hired Boston College's head coach, and you're thinking, well, why would a head coach want to leave and go be a defense coordinator? Here's the quote. He wants to go coach football again in a league that is all about football. College coaching has become fundraising, NIL, and recruiting your own team and transfers. There's no time to coach football anymore. Dude,
That is Saban retired.
That is the exact thing we've been fucking preaching, this NIL, this transfer portal thing, dude. It's gotta suck to be a fucking college coach. Dude, you wanna go... That's so cool. And I think we're gonna see more of that. Dude, Chip Kelly, keep your eyes on it. I swear to God, he's gonna be somebody's offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, college football really needs more guidelines
Made
when
mine.
it comes to that because, yeah, like the head coaches don't have time as it is.
Dude, you're going to coach a fucking team, and you got to go do all that bullshit, the NIL
And
stuff.
how hard is it to build a fucking team energy when every year you have 20 to 30 new dudes?
Hey, Trev, are you happy? Are you going to come back and play? Chuck, are
Hopefully.
you happy? Are you going to come back and play?
Go
Dude,
the
you gotta
Patino
fucking-
route. How many hookers do we need to get in here to keep you at this school? Is it 2? Is it 3? You
What's
know,
that NIL money looking like?
right?
You know,
I know
above?
where them boosters at, dog. Like, give me that paycheck. It sucks.
just-
I feel bad
like
for
a
college
range.
coaches on that. From a player's perspective, love the NIL. I think that they should be able to get their bag in one way or another as soon as they are of legal age.
Yes.
I get that part, but there needs to be some regulations. NCAA, you need to come in over the top, and you need to control this transfer portal way better.
See, I think that's
Like,
where the problem is. I don't necessarily think it's the NIL.
it's not. I think it's
the
way more.
fucking...
Yeah,
Dude, I'm out.
it's loosey
I'm out.
goosey.
I'm out.
Exactly.
I'm
It
out.
just happens. Boop, gone.
You can transfer fucking like 4
Whenever.
fucking times.
Whenever you
dude.
want.
Come on.
Well, and with the NCAA
Whenever you
in charge, I feel like this is going to get drawn out, and it's not a quick fix.
No.
It's going to be a while before
It should be-
it looks
Like
better.
it should.
Here,
Yeah.
NCAA, here's your fucking quick fix. You can't transfer unless
Jam
you're
down
fucking...
now.
Hey, if you want to transfer, you lose the year, you can't play the next year. Or unless
You
you're
stay on that tip with the losing of the eligibility.
unless the coach that recruited you to come to the
Moves,
school
leaves.
moves.
That's what the exception.
yes.
They made exceptions back, and you could put in
But
that exception transfer.
That should be,
That's fine.
dude. If the coach that recruited you leaves, okay, I'm not part of this guy's offense. I'm not part of this guy's scheme.
Contract broken.
No.
I'm out. Yes, but if the coach that recruits you stays and you're just not good enough to play, then you fucking
I
have to
think
wait.
it should come. I think it should come down to, if anything, I think that it should be a 2-year commitment before you're available to transfer. This 1 year in and out thing, I don't like the loss of eligibility because you're only so young and you don't want to put more miles on your legs than you have to, and those kinds of things. Like, you don't want to age yourself out. If you're really trying to make the NFL, you want to go to another program and be successful with whatever program you're transferring to. But I think that there needs to be a guaranteed commitment to that first dotted line. You tell whatever school, I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
It's 2 years goddamn bare minimum. If not, you got to find a way to get more years out of these kids because it can't turn into free agency. This is not the NFL. This is not the NFL. This is college football. These are two very different ideologies, and they need to remain that way.
And that makes sense as long as you don't have your coach leaving. And
No, I'm all for that too. Yeah, no. If you are no longer following the coaching staff that you thought you were going to get in the same off season, then yeah, you should that makes sense to me.
And that kills like amateur football too, as far as them trying to start these other leagues with how college football has changed. It's semi-pro now, so
It is pro. No, it is the fun. It always was the minor leagues for the NFL, obviously, but now we're really like, it's free agencies there. Players are getting paid. This is professional football now at this point on a level. Whether you want to call it AAA or whatever, this is like even
player athletes, player first.
Professional college football.
basically. I mean, and
It's professional college
because the shitty thing is, for the lower programs that will always be lower programs, if you have one guy that pops, he's gone.
He's out to a
never
bigger
going
school.
to stay with you. Why would he? He's going to get money and offers. Cam Ward. I love the idea of the Cougars taking a step back, but like, it's not fair to that school that, like, you know, we gave you the shot, you proved it, and now you're just going to douche on us because you're going to get more money and bigger. Like, you need to hold to your commitment. I would say at least for 2 years. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, it's not student athletes, it's athletes first.
It's purely just athletes, depending on what school you're at.
So we'll get more into more coaching stuff, probably in fandom. There's some more stuff to touch on. We're gonna take a break, refill our brewskis, and then come back with championship weekend coverage. I think there's a lot to touch on. We're gonna touch on the games themselves, and then touch on what teams need to do to get back to where they were.
Mild tease for the Super Bowl, but watch out for that because we're going to make that a huge episode next week because we're obviously in the bye week for the Niners Chiefs, and that's it.
Hey, guess what? It's not a conspiracy anymore.
Yeah, so eat a dick, Aaron Rodgers.
God, you're such a dork.
Dork pudwhacker. That's one of my favorite expressions that you've ever given me, Zach. He's a pudwhacker is what he is. But you guys will be back shortly, so follow up with we're going with a little darker beer.
Yeah, excited for the second one.
Let's go.
Welcome back to Balls&Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Sorry, I poured mine kind of tall. Easy on the.
We're so excited.
Oh, so excited for this.
It smells amazing.
It smells delicious. I saw this. I could not resist. It just jumped off the shelf at me, and I caught it.
Shouldn't even be legal.
Shouldn't even be legal. Choco burrito. I mean,
It's Shoot Street too. That's in Carson, right, boys?
Nailed it. Attaboy. Yeah. Shoe Tree Brewing out of Carson City. So technically a local pod is what this could also be called as well.
They got a really cool building. So I've done work at the building across the street. The Shoe Tree building looks cool. I've never been in it, but it looks cool.
It's the old, what was the original Carson brewery that was out there? I forget.
Sure.
There was, golly, it didn't last that long. It had good beers, and I forget. And Shoe Tree took it over, and they make good beers too. So shout out, man. Some Nevada love. It's a porter.
Northern
drinks with
Nevada
cocoa nibs. Yeah, that's true for sure. Northern Nevada love. We are very different than Southern Nevada. But vanilla, cocoa nibs, peanuts, and lactose.
All of it.
love it all. I mean,
You literally smell the waffle cone.
It
Like
smells
it
so good.
smells like a choco
Yeah.
taco. If you and it drinks.
they don't make those anymore. But
They
I
don't?
love them.
Have those
I
been
used to get them-
discontinued?
Yeah, they got
Okay,
discontinued.
okay.
I love to get them from the ice cream man. They were so fun.
Ice
good.
cream man.
What's your go-to when the ice cream truck comes pulling up? Since we're talking about this,
Sidebar.
what is your go-to, like, I know what mine is. What's your guys' go-to, like, ice cream that you get from said ice cream truck?
Okay, back in the day when I was a kid, for sure, like my favorite things, bro, was the Flintstone Push Pops, bro. Them orange Flintstones Push Pops, I was all about those. Give me those all day.
I love those, but I had those in the fridge already.
Sure.
I mean, when I was real little, it was like the Ninja Turtle ones with the gumball eyes.
Sure.
And the baseball glove?
They
Yes,
did.
the baseball
They did
gloves.
Sonic. They did Pikachu. They did a bunch of different of the caricatures, but they never looked. They were always just lame. They looked melted already.
I don't care.
I got
That's
anything with the bubble gum, like the baseball.
I love
or the
this. You
ice.
guys are
Dude,
fucking
I
hilarious.
always got
man.
that one, dude. That's the
Zach was so giddy when you gave him the right answer.
It was the right answer.
He
right?
felt like he was 7 again.
yeah, back to the brewski.
This was it when I got older. The Choco Tacos I love. This is a gold and silver medal winner in the last couple years.
So shout out to Shoe Tree, man.
Yeah.
Drinks at what, a 6%. So
it's
which is
right where we want it.
it's nice because you know that it's not going to be too boozy.
Hey, so I'm looking at this can, Chuck. Explain to the people what IBUs is, and then I need you to explain what the other one is.
I'm not sure what an SRM is.
You don't? Okay.
I have no idea what an SRM is. An IBU is going to tell you basically the bitter units. It's going to tell you if there's a lot of hops or if it's malty. So if the number is low, it's going to be much more on the malty side. And if it's high, it's going to be much more on the hoppy side. So IBUs that point out at like 70s and 90s, you're going to get fucking crunchy hoppy beers. IBUs that point out around the like 20, 10, 7, you're going to get really, really deep, dark richness.
That's
yeah.
what this is. This is a 20.
Yeah, so
you don't know what the SRM is?
I've never seen that before. to
I
be
didn't
fair.
either. That's why
I've only ever seen IBUs, and I only know what that is because I just naturally am curious.
Yeah.
And like if I see, but yeah, I don't know what an SRM is. Super
I'll have to do some research on that.
rational. I don't know, but it's delicious, dude. This fucking beer. Good
the
job,
Shoe
Shoe
Tree.
Tree, because this is actually more than a oneer.
It's
Oh,
hard
dude, I'm
to
drinking-
brew a beer of this stature that I want more than one of. I could drink several of these.
I'm drinking 3 of these if they were sitting in my house. Dude, I drank 3 of those left-handed milk stouts the other
Hey
night.
man, yeah, because they're all, I think those are traditional stouts in the sense that I think they're like 5.55. They're only like 5.5. I think
they're 6, just like
6. Okay, yeah, exactly though. That's very manageable.
Get that nitro and just fucking.
Oh, let it like creep up the glass. If you have never poured a nitro beer, please go out and find one.
pour it
Get a
fast.
beautiful fucking glass and pour it in there, and you watch this cascade of dark beer just creep up into this beautiful
So cool.
foamy. It's delicious.
And then they're even more delicious because it's nitro. So
Yeah,
the
that's
mouthfeel
exactly
is
it.
just
Yeah, no
amazing.
nitro beer, you guys. You gotta go get some.
Hope they have nitro of this at the brewery.
Dude, that would be amazing.
That
Could
would
you
be
imagine
lit.
this?
That would be
Could you imagine
fucking-
this
yeah.
on nitro? The mouthfeel,
Fluffy. Oh, that
wow,
would be fantastic.
wow.
Shout. Do it, shoot trade.
Since
Do it.
we're talking about some hella cool shit, let's talk about some championship games. That was pretty cool.
The
We had a-
weekend was fucking crazy.
We had such a good time partying it up, eating food, fucking watching these games.
Drinking some good beer. We shouted out the beer already. But yeah,
So
no.
first game was Chiefs 17 and Ravens 10. I'm gonna give Chiefs the props on the dub. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they do what they do. It's fun to watch. It really is. But this is kind of more about the losing team in these conversations, and the Ravens get an absolute fucking F for you fucked your fucking game plan out the fucking roof.
But after that great run game that you're not going to use.
Didn't use it all. Gus Edwards 3 carries. The other back 3 carries. Gus Edwards.
Troy Hill only had 3 carries too.
Gus Edwards' first carry was 15 fucking yards,
Yeah, they
dude.
averaged 5 yards pop on the ground. They're like, nah.
And
we'll
didn't
get away
win.
from
Nah,
that.
fuck it. Done. That's great fucking coaching. And I think John Harbaugh's awesome. Dude, that is bad. That's bad on his part by not getting in the offense coordinators.
I was gonna say, when do you take that over and change the script when you're like, Monken, bro, come here. Look,
the
you see
third fucking drive.
You see these running backs that are getting you yards. You see these like Zay Flowers had a good game. He did. Like there were some
Except
bright
for
spots.
that one play.
Yeah.
2
Oh, dude. Yeah. The getting the punch out and then fumbling on the goal line
That's
for
what
the
I was thinking.
touchback for sure. That sucks.
He
That's
fumbled, and then he had the 15-yarder for doing the head
yeah.
thing.
That's dumb too. Yeah. The taunt. So he had a good and bad game. He definitely
No, seriously though, like what, like
But no, Harbaugh needs to come over the top
Third
and say,
drive.
run the fucking ball. No, we're running the ball. And that's the identity of the Ravens. It's so
One of the
strange.
things we're best at.
But well, you said it. But when does Harbaugh? You like literally third.
You
drive?
said third. Well, that's where
Second
GM
drive.
Downey comes in. So, I mean.
Dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Okay, and then you know what else? Mike McDonald, we praise him. Their defense did not show up. The fucking in the second half they were amazing. That was a
Shut 'em
great
out.
defense we should have seen.
Absolutely.
So
The
the
first
first
half?
adjustments.
Dude, Pacheco made them look like fucking.
Chiefs defense is good.
No, Pacheco ran all over the fucking place in
Ravens
the first
defense.
half.
He ran angry. He does
Yeah.
what he does, dude.
Dude, so-
it's fun to watch that kid with the
It
football.
is.
And I hope he stays healthy because
He caught-
he's a fucking bruiser,
He
dude.
caught the ball good.
If he can develop that side of his game, watch the fuck out.
Offense didn't score a lot of points for the Chiefs, but they made the plays they needed to make.
Yep. The big throw. At the end.
Shout out to the wide receivers finding their hands at the right part of the year.
Yeah,
Shout
Stanley-
out. Their drop percentage has gone down by like 20%. Like
That's a
they're
big number.
it is, dude.
MBS caught that ball at the end. Well, they're not throwing to Doofus boy anymore.
Yeah, Kadarius
Do we have to get
Tony.
into that?
No, Shitlister.
No, he's probably on it, dude. No, he doesn't even make a list. He's
Once
just like,
again,
oh,
not worthy. We you have to be a supreme, like you
Yeah.
have to be meaningful to
Yeah,
be a shit lister.
You're just some dude. Well, the backup catcher for the fucking Braves could be a shit
Yeah,
lister, but he
who
doesn't make
played
the
behind
list.
Yogi Berra for 20 years? Nobody knows.
But yeah, so it's gonna be one of the interesting
Actually, some
things.
Yankee historian does know that, but
It's going to be interesting to see when we talk next week about kind of how this game went with the way the Chiefs ran the ball, and then how we get into the next game too here in a minute of the run defense and that as well. But overall, the Ravens
started out so
neat-
promising for both teams, and then that second half was just the struggle bus, dude. Nobody was getting anything done.
What do the Ravens need to do to get back here or improve on, like, getting to the next step? In your guys' opinion, you guys both having the Super Bowl. They were right there. What is the next step to get to the Super Bowl?
Great question.
Roster wise, I don't think they need to change much. Really, the game plan or the play calling was bad, and They threw it more than they needed to, and Lamar came up short. So he's got more talent around him than he's ever had.
He was off.
Do you guys know?
He couldn't even swing route very well. His flat throws were awful.
Do you guys know cap room by any? Is it? Or do they have? Is it pretty? Is it
well,
pretty
they
tight?
just gave Lamar that deal, so
And
he's going to
Roquan.
eat up a fucking big old percentage.
Their space has got to be minimal.
It can't be, based off of the way they're built. There cannot be a lot of extra money.
Because a running back would be nice. Like a
That's the only, but you can find one. Throw darts in the draft for that.
I
You
think
don't
that's
have-
Can't stay healthy. You got to draft a guy.
That's what I've been saying for
I would, a
years.
couple of them. Why not? Ravens. Honestly, you're. What's scary now is the point that you have been making about coordinators now for 2 years, Zach. Is that when you lose a premium coordinator, that side of the ball always takes a step back. So replacing McDonald is going to be. I think replacing McDonald is going to be harder than what they need to do to build the roster.
There's not very many times you get to lose a Robert Saleh and get a
better.
D'Amico Ryans, and then we saw a dip this year. We'll get into that, but
D'Amico's a beast.
You don't
too.
get- there's
He
not
should be coach of the year, right? Right.
There's not a lot of things
we
you
know
see.
that, right?
The one thing I'll say about that though is defensive coordinators they get less of the head coaching opportunities. It seems like so you have more of them, kind of like Ron Rivera, like big head coaching guys who were head coaches available. So you can get a veteran coach in there that can steady the ship.
I think it also goes to mention for these, Niner disciples, that fucking defense that they were coaching was fucking stacked.
Talking about losing coaches, it seems like every season.
Well, yeah, but that's why you get all these compensatory picks, which is why you're still able to have those high-profile guys at high amounts because you have all these draft picks. Right, exactly. It's a balance. You guys have a fairly good balance, but I can't wait for that fucking rent check to come due for Purdy. Let's go. Let's
Still got
bust up
one more
this-
year.
I know. I fucking know.
Charlie, what would be the one position that you think the Ravens would need to improve other than running back? We already know
Right,
that.
yeah.
Other
no,
than running back,
that's the glaring one.
What's the position you think that needs
Their
improvement?
offensive line. Their defensive line can get younger too, but offensive line just Lamar bails you out of a lot of dipsy doodah backyard style play, and he can break a lot of tackles, break a lot of ankles, and so he makes that offensive line look a little bit better. But they were not good for him. Like he had to scramble for his life, especially during that game. The Chiefs' defensive line played very well in that game. They got Lamar off of his spot, and he wasn't able to create off ball the way that he normally does.
And Trev, is there a position that you think?
Yes. Other than that, cornerback. They need to get younger there.
Younger, yes, correct. I do agree with that. I
when
thought they were
think
going
the
to draft
Ravens,
one this year, and they
I
did
think,
not.
Like Ray Lewis, Chris McAllister, Ed Reed, those are the first names that pop into my head when I think Ravens. And they were built on that
Suggs.
back end. Yeah, Suggs is up there too for sure. Definitely.
God, Ed Reed was so fun to watch.
So
Oh
badass.
my God. Yeah, nostalgia.
What do
dude.
you guys think about though that the receiver position, because they are losing Beckham, so Zay has obviously turned out to be okay. Bateman's still a no-show. Likely's a sick back. So you have two really good tight ends.
Yes,
Need
that's what I
another
was about to point out.
receiver. Beckham, that contract was too much for what.
Dude, he
for
got
what
16
what he did.
mil, dude.
Yeah,
There's no way that he was
paid
worth
too much
16 mil.
money for what he did.
Are you thinking drafting?
I thought
receiver?
it was like 12 mil.
He got
16.
16 with the
Jesus,
incentives.
dude.
Are you drafting
Golf
one, or you
clap.
think you're trying to bring in like a Mike Evans in free agency?
I think you first go. If you can hit one of those free agents, that's all you need.
Yeah, if you could,
If
if
you
you
don't,
could,
then you fall back to the draft.
I agree with Trev 100%. If you can swing Evans, good God, what a fucking
Evans,
difference that would make.
Or there's rumors that AJ Brown wanted out of Philly.
He was talking a lot of shit, cryptic tweets. You
I'm
want
so
to talk
tired
about
of
cryptic
that.
fucking
God, fucking
tweets?
hate
There were a
that.
lot coming out of his account towards the end of that Eagle run, and he maybe that's why they traded him to the Eagles in Tennessee. Maybe they saw that he was a locker room poison. Maybe
Vrabel loved him. Vrabel was kind of
He was pissed.
Vrabel probably
There
sold the
is-
job if
there
they
is
didn't
a-
make that trade.
There's a clip of Vrabel just walking out of the draft room when
Yeah.
he found out the news that they were trading that 16th pick, or AJ Brown for the 16th pick. He just got up and left because he completely disagreed with it. And that's how could you do that to your head coach? If your head coach is that fucking adamant about not moving this player, and then your GM comes over the top and says we're doing this, that's
You
like
better be moving it.
that's a fucking slap in the face.
You better be moving.
We're all that offense.
You better be moving it to get somebody like fucking like
A can't miss, not a Burks who's
turned into
maybe.
Treylon Burks, a wide receiver for a wide receiver. It's one thing if you're like, okay, now we're loaded at wide receiver and we can use this piece to get exactly, but to go parallel and then fall backwards significantly is a fucking stupid move.
So let's jump into the next. Let's jump into the next game. Lions 31. Niners 34. Trevor, you're obviously last in this one. Charles, I wouldn't mind starting this one off, and then I'll throw it to you.
Give me some, Downey. Let's break it down. I'm gonna drink this delicious beer and ponder about how much I hate the result of this fucking game.
Ponder because I got a little bit to say about both sides.
Get it.
Last week I fucking slammed Shanahan for his play call. I thought he came out with a shitty play call plan, not run the football, and then first half. Shanahan did the exact same thing. So we'll stay with that in the first half. First half Lions. Dude, I don't agree with this. You just stay aggressive. There's times being aggressive, there's times not. When you can go up 3 scores, I don't give a fuck if it's a field goal. When you're up 3 scores, it's still 3 scores. That's in every offensive person's mind on the other side of the field. You go up the fucking field goal in the second quarter. Now you're thinking, fuck, we got to get 3 scores. Holy shit, 3 scores. That's a lot of scores, especially since we haven't stopped them. Oh my God, 3 scores. That's a big difference than 2 scores. You hear people talk about that 3-score thing is a different menace.
Do you want to know why? Because now not only do you need to score the ball every time you have it, you have to also stop them.
Correct.
One more field goal, just if they can trade touchdowns for field goals now, the rest of the game essentially based off of the possessions and how many you're going to touch the ball. If we're getting 3 and you're getting 7, we'll still outpace you at this point.
Right.
So
Charlie likes to say you don't chase points.
Don't chase points, baby. Don't.
The other thing too is you kick a field goal. Guess what? Team comes off the field. Yes, we got some more points. Niners come off the field. Fuck, man, we just get more points.
We're down
and
by
instead,
more.
when they stop a 4th down, fuck yeah, we fucking stopped them. Come off the field. Then the offense comes on, and they're fucking pumped.
Flex on them.
And then to do it in the 3rd and 4th quarter again, and not go for a tie at one point, and then also going for it on your own area, dude. It's too much, dude. There's a time and place for it, and you fucking miss. And people are defending Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell's a great coach. We've already commented about the Lions.
Big time.
We've already commented about the Lions keeping both their coordinators, so they hit a home run there. But, dude, you fucked it. You fucked it on those plays. Josh Reynolds might drop the ball. Maybe he does catch it. You shouldn't have fucking even been in that spot. Kick the goddamn fucking field goal. And Charlie Roscoe, take it.
Dude, you fucked it. Campbell, you did, man. After all the hype and, oh my God, his speeches are
fucking
empowering.
had him, dude.
Yeah, no.
By the fucking testes.
I really want to give Trevor the spotlight on this, so I'll make my part short. I think that to piggyback off of you, Downey, the situational awareness was fumbled on a handful of plays on the Lions sideline.
You should have seen me and Chuck watching this fucking game. We're just looking at each other like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Every time, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
If you defend it, that's fine too. I'm not going to say you were aggressive all year's, Lions, and if it would have paid off, you would have won the game. Now, it didn't pay off and you didn't win the game, so that is the other side of the coin, and that's the part of life you're going to have to live with. I just think that in such an unpredictable game as such as the NFL, when you have the opportunity to expand a lead or just get points in general, because points are hard to come. You talk to any head coach in the NFL, one of the first things they will tell you is points are hard to come by.
I love what you just said by expand the lead. That is a great...
Always.
That is a great...
Always. Why would you ever not want to have the ability to expand your lead? Because it does exactly what you said. It buries that momentum, especially when you're on the road and you're the dog.
They stop you.
You had
home stadium. The stadium gets
quiet. You had them down by 17 with the ability to potentially go up 20. You had them quiet, stonewalled, and you let them get back into the game because of bad coaching decisions. Like you said, Reynolds, he had 2 big drops, but you can't put the whole game on those two.
Gibbs
two
has
plays.
a big fumble.
Yes. So yes, there were some marks that went in the opposite direction for the Lions as well. Shout out to the Niners for staying resilient and digging their heels in and making the comeback, because a lot of teams wouldn't have been able to do that. And when you win with not playing your best football, that's the mark of a championship team. And Shanahan's got a lot to prove coming into this Super Bowl, especially it's a rematch, and he should be angry. And we'll see how that all plays out. That preview for next week, we're not going to get too far into the actual matchup. I do want to say that I think the Lions need to get better at the secondary position. They
100%.
they swung
100%.
in free agency, and Gardner Johnson was good, not great. Like Cam Sutton was good, not great. So
I don't even know if I'd even put Cam Sutton.
there's improvement that needs to happen on the back end. Their front seven's great. That offense is really taking form. They returned all their coordinators and their head coach. They are prime. Get that secondary ready. You're going to be set.
It's the one position, right?
Yeah.
Like the one position.
So Detroit, man, God, I was hoping for that miracle run. And sitting next to a Niners fan, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off. I just want to say, Dan Campbell, learn from this, because you have to understand that you're not invincible, and that at some point you need to realize that within this moment, now is the time to take 3. Now is the time to be humble, get the fucking points, and move forward.
Expand the lead. That's a great word.
Let's go, Trev. What do you got? Let's wrap a pretty little bow on this fucking Niners goddamn.
Can I
victory.
start you with a question?
Yes.
All right,
Lead in. Give us a lead in, Downey. Let's go.
How worried are you that your quarterback has been outplayed by every other quarterback except for, like, I know he had a big game like second half, but he's only played 2.5 good quarters of football, like a half of a third last week, and then all the fourth was good. And the week before, he only really had a good fourth quarter. Is that like something that kind of makes your nuts hurt a little bit?
Not really. Like, I feel like if we were able to put it together from start to finish, nobody's gonna beat us.
Right.
The slow starts, man, they've hurt. Like, I don't. Usually we're better with the scripted plays.
You got a little gray in there from those slow starts now.
Yeah, a little bit.
You can't start slow against the Chiefs. That's a non-negotiable.
I'm worried
Continue.
that we could, but gotta keep it close. Gotta keep it closer than what it was last week.
Purdy is not going to outdo Mahomes. Fucking period. If it gets into that phase of the game, you are going Mahomes 100%. I know that.
I think the
Oh my god!
offense
All
is
right,
better than the Chiefs.
let's hear a fucking Sorry.
Hold on, we're not previewing next week. Talk about this week.
Okay.
Talk about this week. Wait. No preview for next week.
All right. I'm gonna defend Dan Campbell a little bit.
Downey,
just
for
a little
keeping us
bit.
on
Maybe
track.
it's because my team won. I don't know. But this has been their identity all season. Campbell's an aggressive coach. It's worked for him for the most part. The difference is points come at a premium in the playoffs. And, like, one of those fourth downs was the right call. Goff delivered the ball. Reynolds was open. It hit him in the hands.
Oh, and it would have turned into 20 as well.
You
He had
cannot crush
Green
the
in front of
coaching
him.
staff for that play. The other one, it was a bit more of a miss. And to go for both of them was a bit much.
3 of them.
But I also think that is because of who the Lions were this year.
Of course.
The defense wasn't as good. That's why he was more aggressive on fourth.
And can I also, real quick, I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to point out, because I didn't make in this assessment and I forgot about this play. Why are you running it on 3rd and goal when you have 3 timeouts and now you have to burn that timeout, which means you don't get that ability to try to kick it deep and get the ball back? What the fuck are you doing, Dan Game? That's another situational awareness. That's so bad. That's more inexcusable than the previous plays we just talked about. Period. You cannot lose seconds. At that moment of the game, those timeouts are gold. They are worth more than your life at that point.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's a little heavy, but
Charles,
yes,
man, NFL
we get
are
it.
bust.
On the Niners side, man, that first half, like, I've gone back and forth with Steve Wilkes all season. It feels like I feel like we have the talent and we're underperforming.
Dude, that defensive line, Trev, sorry to cut you off, looks like fucking shit, bro.
Well, Hargrave hasn't done anything in the playoffs.
Swing and
Chase
miss.
Young and
Swing
Randy
and-
Gregory,
swing and
that
miss.
seems like misses. We gave up draft picks for those guys, and they weren't high draft picks, and it still seems like a loss.
I was going to say, you gave up picks for Gregory? I thought he came in free agency.
No, we got him.
traded for him?
It was like a late round pick. It was like
Fifth? I think it was a fifth, yeah.
But
Chase was a 3.
yeah, at this point, it looks and Chase. Okay, there's those clips out there where he's not hustling every play.
Dude, there's hella reports out there.
It's like this guy
He's seen
seems
the
like
public.
he wants to be he came in with all this hype, being one of the best athletic defensive ends in his generation, and he doesn't play every play.
He's a miss.
If he had Max Crosby's motor, he would be unfucking stoppable.
Yeah, but
like,
he's
he
playing
doesn't,
like
though.
he wants to be a situational pass rusher.
Yep.
Terrible.
Which I mean, we might as well have played the guy that we drafted, Drake Jackson.
Well, then don't pay him a premium.
Yeah, why didn't you play Drake Jackson? I liked him coming out of SC.
That's SC love, right? Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think there's parts of his game where he's still real green.
Because the other kid that came out of SC that was playing for the Chargers, is killing it. He became a big-time pass rusher when Bosa went down. He really got so.
Well, Drake Jackson, I think he's had the kind of his weight has fluctuated in college, his position fluctuated in college.
D-tack.
And he's been more of a green player, where that's why I think they brought in those other guys. But at this point, seeing what those other guys have brought, I would have rather just rolled with Drake and had him get better.
Was Hargrave good during the season?
During the season, he's made plays, and he still gets a good push. He just hasn't got those stats. He hasn't come down with those stats. It's been a little disappointing this postseason. I was expecting a little bit more from him.
I think
that D-line has to be better.
Your linebacking core picks up the defensive line all the time with Warner and
Greenlaw. Oh my God, he's been balling this postseason, man.
Where do they fall on contracts? I know you just extended Warner. Where does Greenlaw fall? Because I know you lost Al-Shaair.
Yeah, to the Titans. I wanted him so bad.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
I'm not exactly sure. That is definitely a worry, because Greenlaw he doesn't get a lot of hype, but man, he's that guy on the defense that's hitting people.
It's the same Bobby Wagner, Jordan Brooks thing, where if you're a fan of the team, you understand how fucking nasty both of them are. Yeah, but to the national media, you only see Fred Warner or Bobby Wagner. You don't see the secondary, the Jordan Brooks or the Drake Greenlaw, but they are imperative to the team's middle success.
I kind of lost what I was thinking about now that we were talking
well,
about.
We talked about what the Lions need, and I think that, it shows true grit, like I was saying, in the idea of when you can win when you're not playing your best football is fucking hard to do. Most teams do not win games when they're down by 17.
Give them super props for coming back.
It has to be said. Shanahan shaking off that label of not getting it done.
Making the second half adjustment was fucking huge.
Yeah,
but you know what they did? They ran the fucking football.
Purdy turned it on.
Fucking ball in the first fucking half, and you don't have to worry about it.
One thing I will say that I very do much respect about Purdy is he hangs in that fucking pocket, dude. To the last second, he dishes that ball at
his scrambling won the game. I think
enough.
Yes.
It got him. It ended the game. It ended the game.
2 huge plays.
Absolutely.
Great first downs.
Absolutely.
I think long thirds too.
Game manager.
Yeah. No. To be fair, we've all been Purdy supporters, right? Like, I hate to say that because I don't like the Niners, but overall, I'll take my personal bias.
That's more the national narrative.
I think us three have him in the same area. There's some of our friends that have him top 5 quarterback. I saw in a text message at some point, but yes, I think us three have him in that same. I think we all kind of put him in that same area. We know what it is, but we also.
We do the quarterback rankings. Who knows? He might be going up after this season. We'll see how it ends.
Or not,
man.
but we'll see.
Next Sunday. So coming up will be the preview for that next week.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that.
Let's jump into this common sense thing we got this week. This one we're going to take an extra, we've kind of been doing common sense throughout, other topics. This week
we had a good one earlier as well, yeah.
We're going to take a full on common sense of this one.
This one's dumb. This one kind of ties into a few other common senses that we've had before. This has been a theme.
Here is the headline.
This one's egregious, though. This one's fucking extra, to say the least.
NFL to investigate accusations of Patriots wide receiver Keyshawn Butte placed.
That was pretty great, isn't
ready?
it?
Placed.
Listen to this.
8,927 bets.
That's a big
in
number.
a 13th-month span while at LSU. And guess what?
Where's he getting all that money, dog?
And guess what?
Hey, maybe he's doing our parlays.
Oh my lord!
He was underage the whole time.
Underage the whole time.
And here's hold on. So you had a warrant issued. Here's go. 17 of the bets, only 17. Guess what? Out of the 8,000, only 17 were. Okay. We're on NCAA football games, including 6 involving his own team at LSU.
I mean, we're approaching that Gamblers Anonymous.
Give me a call or something. Yeah, call 1-800 fucking I can't stop.
Bro, come on.
Dude, 8,927
327 bets, dude.
He had ghost bettors behind him. How does that even happen from one account?
Well,
Like,
he had
that's
his mom's. I think he registered under his mom's name.
So are you literally just betting on everything? Every game that has a line, everything.
Gambling
That's
team,
everything.
man.
That's everything. In 13 months. That's not like over a decade. That's a year and a month. Yeah. That's under 400 days. That's fucking ridiculous. Okay.
395, right?
Bets a day? Or
Oh,
okay,
that's
so
easy.
now divide. Now, real quick, we're gonna do it on pod. Now divide the 8,000 by the 395 and see what we get. How many bets a day did he fucking make?
8,900
Divided by 395
7 divided by 395
is
22.6. So
he
you gotta
made
make,
23 bets a day on average.
Dude, that's fucking insane, bro. Dude, what are you betting? You betting every fucking
Everything. No matter what it was.
Baseball, hockey, basketball, college football.
Holy sweet dude, man! Where is he getting his money? Is this that
Well, he
NIL
won.
money? Is this that
I
NIL money?
couldn't find it in this article. No, because he's in the pros now.
Well, right, but now, but this is so like.
the NIL wasn't.
How long the NIL's been
But he
around
was
for
making
2
bets
to
when he was
3 years now?
underage.
Because he's a rookie, so he
So
was the NIL. It had to have been the NIL.
Well, I heard.
Well,
I
underage
could-
means he's 17. Or, well,
No,
no, technically betting
he
he was
was-
20, so he had to be.
He was 20,
Yeah,
I
okay.
think. I'd have to find the.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
He was 20, but I heard, and I couldn't find it in this article, but he won like upwards of like millions of dollars, like in this 8,000 jam. He did good. He did good betting. He had just.
That's probably why he kept betting, but like.
And the hot hand. So authorities.
That's.
But a warrant was issued for his arrest. Alleged he placed that many bets between April 6th and May 7th, which encompasses his final season in LSU. At the time of the alleged wagers, he was only 20 years old, not legally allowed to gamble in that
You
state.
can't even make up these numbers. This shit is so removed from actual reality. That's absurd. How did you not think that at some point you're leaving such a paper trail? You know, it's one thing I made 1 bet, I made 2 bets, I made 5 to 10 bets. 8,000 bets, bro. 22 a day. A fucking day for 13 months. You guys, that is... Yeah, it's inconceivable. I don't even know what... I wouldn't even be confident enough to bet 23 fucking bets every day.
Hey man, we're looking to. We need
Like
one more
Trev
winner
said.
to come out on top this season. Otherwise, we're in the negative. So,
Like Trev said, how in the fuck are you like doing? Like, dude, you call Gamblers Anonymous, bro. You need help. 22 bets a day, man.
1-800 I can't stop, dude. 1-800 when the fun ends.
can't stop. Won't stop.
When the fun ends, please call.
Charlie, do you want to start off fandom this week with your concert?
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I'll give a little shout out because my fandom skews a little from the sports region, if you will. Mine has to do. So Trevor shouted out his love of comedy a couple pods ago, and about him viewing some excellent comedians live and just live entertainment in general. And I went to see they're called G3, and it's Joe Satriani, Eric Johnson, and Steve Vai, which are like 3 guitar gods. Yeah, it was like guitar heaven. It was amazing. And I've been listening to all of those guys for several years, so it was really fucking cool to see them jam at the end of the session. But the fandom, I guess, it goes back to our first segment where I'm bringing a little bit of wheelbarrow here, and I want you guys' opinion. Yeah, because I'm a little nervous. What I was thinking, I'm talking to my folks who obviously are in the older generation, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go see Marshall Tucker and Jefferson Starship, which are bands from the fucking 70s. That's 50 years ago."
My wife's favorite song is from Marshall Tucker.
These legacy bands, though, the Eagles are on the road. Leonard Skinner with 2 members are on the road. Basically, what I'm saying is I'm really nervous for the next generation. We don't have any superstars left in fucking music, you guys. We're getting aged out.
Did we talk about this like when we did the music thing, that there is no like
probably
there is no rock and roll
maybe
anymore?
I'm calling it back. Well, I'm not even saying specifically rock and roll. I'm just saying longevity superstars, generational talents that are going to transcend 10, 20, 30 years from now.
There
Well, yeah,
are
because
those.
also you get. Sorry, Trev, but you said those ones, but you also have some of these country guys too, like the Garth Brooks and George Straits are getting old. And think of what
Legacy, still, absolutely. They're
think of what
40, they're 35 years into their career.
you know, they're early '90s and they're still late '80s. But you think about what what they're going to be going to country music is like to what you're saying for like rock and roll.
Who's holding that torch overall? If you had to pass the torch to a
there's
big country artist,
They're doing country music.
is massive,
it's
but it's also,
massive.
but at the same time, I would say it's crossed over to pop. I would say
Little
the
bit.
vast majority of what's
And I
charting,
think
if you will, is
and it's-
pop music with country elements,
And
not
it's
country
And it's
music.
probably taken away from the rock and roll status because it's not live. So you get a lot of these people that come and sing more of like a rock and roll type music in the country because it's the bigger
Genre.
genre. Yeah, thank you. Like this Hardy guy, he probably could be a rock and roll guy, but he's not because rock and roll is kind of dead if you want to put it that way.
It ain't kinda. It's dead.
I would say that you got like guys like Luke Combs, Eric Church. They're pretty big in the Morgan Whalen. He just like was on the top of like multiple albums, charts and stuff. So
Right,
you have
but what I'm saying, okay, so to his point, he's very the moment. I don't. What I'm scared of is there's no artists that are going to expand into 10, 20, 30 years of like this fucking artist did it for this long.
I think we got kind of
Maybe,
we got
but-
kind of lucky with that, like Tom Petty stuff.
Oh no, we missed out on the golden era of music, bro.
Like the
we
70s, like the
we
Aerosmith,
missed it.
the fucking
not this
Pink
era.
Floyd, Led Zeppelin. I mean, you're
yeah.
talking The Who. You're talking anybody in that era.
Steve Miller, like all of them.
All
dude.
of it, sure.
Dude, yeah, I love all that shit. Like Foreigner, all like, dude, the 70s and stuff is 80s and bleeding into, dude, that's some good rock and roll. Bleeding into even the 90s.
You know what it is, and Trev, I want to give you your time. I'm sorry, I feel
No,
like
you're
you're coming in. It's because we're oversaturated. It has become too easy to record music, and as I guess amateur podcasts, it's very easy to put out a podcast as well. But we're oversaturated
for sure.
and the quality of music and the quality of talent has gone down because people are not. You don't have to be the cream of the crop to get recognized anymore. You know, I was making a point to my dad, and he couldn't understand this concept, and maybe you guys will, because it's younger and it's part of our generation. TikTok has changed music.
Yeah.
15 to 20 seconds of a snippet of a song blows that song up, blows that band up. That's all people care about is that 20 seconds of that one fucking song, and all dudes are doing anymore are singles. Why wouldn't you? The album is dead.
Spotify.
Dead. Playlists. Singles, go for it, Trev.
Yeah, like you're saying, the album is kind of faded, and I think that's definitely hurt music in this era
At large.
And there's really not that big band. Like there's
There's
solo artists. I mean, you want to
Correct,
throw out
yes.
Taylor Swift, Beyonce. We still have those. They're I
Pop
think
stars. We still
pop
have pop
stars,
stars. Sure.
They're maybe a little bit, far and few between. But the bands
are gone.
Man,
I think the Red Hot Chili Peppers might be the closest thing just because they've been around. Metallica.
Foo Fighters.
There's the
Foo
good one.
Fighters.
Okay. But once that generation ages out, it's funny to think
Also,
that
a lot
they've
of
been
our-
around for as long as they have been.
A lot of our band members also died because they drug overdose.
Well, of course, but that's
Chris
the reason.
Cornell.
That's no,
That
he
happens
committed
with single
suicide, bro.
artists too.
He unalived himself, and I'm sorry if this gets demonetized. But rest in peace, Cornell, man. SoundCloud was so good. God damn it, great
Obviously.
voice, such a good fucking voice. And you know what? Actually, to that point, sidebar. Rage Against the Machine broke up. Zach left the fucking band. So
Not
that
this
breaks
Zach.
my fucking heart. Zach's in this band. But I guess to wrap a bow on it so we can get back to some sports fandom, it's just that music is... I love it. We've all been to so many live shows. All of us on this panel
many.
love music for sure. And I'm just nervous.
Festivals.
I'm very, very nervous to see the direction that popular music goes. Because underground music, when you listen to genres that are below popular, what would we read over here? We got some breaking news, Zach. What do we got going on?
I'll get to it, my fandom.
Oh, it's part of the fandom
It's part of
again.
the fandom
It's a
again.
double dipping fandom.
Double.
Okay, so then once again, let me wrap this up and we'll get to Zach. I really want to hear this, but
For artists, bands, and musics that, genres that are always going to kind of be below mainstream or under, like, because I love really aggressive, heavy music, that's never going to necessarily be chart topping, legacy band style. But I'm talking more in the vein of like meaningful, changing pop culture style. Humans are fading because we are letting bad artists get famous off of TikTok and off of bullshit, and they can't sustain it. And I'm nervous, and that's my fandom.
Definitely seems like it's more of the one hit kind of wonder.
It's
era.
20 seconds. You need 20 seconds of a song that people use over and over and over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden you become this success. But can you sustain it? It seems like no.
Before we get to Zacks fandom, let me kind of piggyback off of yours.
Okay, let's go for it. Hell yeah.
Mine is celebrities at sporting events. All right,
Good or bad?
Good or bad? Like Taylor Swift has gotten a lot of hate.
So fucking
for
stupid,
nothing.
dude.
She's not even going out of her way. It seems like she's just
And she
minding
doesn't
her
know-
own business.
She
and-
mouthed to the camera, "Please get off me," last time.
Yeah, no, she isn't the problem. Of course, if cameras are going to go on her, it's better than going on some random fan. I like seeing celebrities at the game. Morgan Freeman was at the Warrior game last night. I loved playing to him, just showing, like, people that you're familiar with there at the game, celebrities that you might know and love.
Jacket Laker games.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
even
been
if
on the
you-
sidelines our whole lives.
Yeah,
he
even if you-
predates us.
We don't like the celebrities,
We
man.
don't bitch about Matthew McConaughey being on the fucking Texas sideline, and they go to him every time there's a side shot. Why do we gotta bitch about Taylor Swift?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
come
it's
on,
been
fuck,
blown
dude.
out of proportion, and nobody was complaining about Eminem in
Yeah.
Detroit games. Like, it's personal preference, and those people just that have an angst against the artist just being louder than everybody else.
Just in case everybody was wondering who's listening, it's good for the NFL. You
It
can
is.
think whatever you want about it. It's good for the NFL. Period.
It is.
Do you know how many people gained more eyeballs onto
It's
the
huge.
NFL? It's massive. It is unprecedented what her presence did to the NFL by just one person.
Correct.
Now, the timing of it and all that, whatever. I don't give a shit about any of that conspiracy, whether they're together to fucking,
that
push the
shit's
numbers or whatever.
stupid.
None of that fucking matters to me. But I think that people need to stop fucking overreacting. It's not a big goddamn deal. What was the total airtime she's had, Zach?
It's like seconds. 45.
Seconds.
It was
It was-
45 seconds in the
Yep.
Dolphins game because that game was so bad. It was like 14 seconds in the Raiders game at the end of the year. It's like 25 seconds sometimes.
So we're
It
talking
was like-
collectively like 7 minutes across the
Not
whole,
even-
all of her games.
Yeah, it's 1 minute a game
Yeah,
max.
yeah,
It's not
come on.
even that.
It doesn't
You're-
even get to max. It doesn't even usually get to like 30 seconds.
Right,
The
I mean-
Dolphins game was a lot because the game sucks so
Think
bad.
about it. You guys are sitting here watching an hour and a half of us in a row.
And
So
CBS
Or
is
longer.
CBS has a Grammy, so they like talk about the Grammys. So why not promote the Grammys while you have the
It all
biggest
ties
pop,
in.
while you have the biggest pop stars sitting in your fucking
media and
stadium?
money, baby.
Yeah, my turn.
I believe that was so. I do agree. I like the celebrities at the game as long as they're not Drake at Toronto, because I felt like he was, he
Well, Drake's a bit of a bandwagon
he
kind of guy.
he changed a couple of those games.
How you
Whatever.
gonna show up at like 3 different like,
Warriors. He's got a
basketball
Steph
teams?
Curry tattoo that he had to cover up. How the fuck are you gonna have a Curry tattoo and say you're Toronto to the bone?
bro.
Anyway, that's a sidebar. But like celebrities they're gonna keep going regardless. It's up to the camera crew to decide if they're gonna put the camera on them.
Mark Wahlberg at any Boston type fucking
Anything.
game.
It
Red
makes
Sox,
them more relatable,
Patriots.
I feel like.
Sure, 100%. Well, and it's cool when you feel like you're closer to the people that you admire. It's like, oh, they're regular
fans
humans. How cool
too.
that is. Exactly, 100%. I love that take. Go for it, Downey. Let's get some fucking Raiders speculation.
So
So
I called like 4 pods ago that Cliff Kingsbury would be the Raiders' offense coordinator.
give us the update.
This week it was he was hired, sent out a big text to Trav and Chuck because called it, was fucking on point, and he was getting hired by the Raiders. About an hour ago, we opened up the old ESPN and it says Cliff Kingsbury is backing out of the Raiders' offensive coordinator search. Cool. I had a huge boner, and I don't. I am super flaccid at that point, and then I'm go to open up, and then we go off pod pouring beers. I go, I bet Cliff Kingsbury is going to be the Commanders OC because they're going to trade up to 1 and get
Is that what you
Caleb
found
Williams.
Williams?
And then I open up my motherfucking ESPN app and it says Cliff Kingsbury, top candidate to become Commanders OC. So I was going to have this really great fandom about how I'm so excited, and now they kick me in my balls again, and my balls hurt.
He saw no brightness in your QB room. He's a QB guy, and he didn't see it there.
really wants
Aiden
that
O'Connell
Caleb Williams.
is good, but
Dude,
you know,
he's literally just going to go coach Caleb. That's
Oh
what it
my
is. They're
God.
literally going
He's
to trade
the
him.
guy.
Coach,
wow.
I
it's
can
done.
coach him. I'll be successful.
It's a done deal. Well, Commanders trade them to 1. It's going to happen. It's
The
over.
pieces are falling into place
heard it here
for this
first.
all to happen.
It's going to happen. So my fandom was going to be this cool fandom. Now my balls hurt a little bit, and it kind of sucks. Don't know like if we're going to go Bieniemy or Chip Kelly's been kind of rumored too.
Boo. Boo, Chip Kelly.
See, I don't mind because he hasn't run that quick offense at UCLA. His offense at UCLA was different.
Boo, Chip Kelly.
So I don't. With the Raiders is already interviews.
The Raiders
it's been. I know. With the Raiders interviews, they've already been interviewing people that are play callers. They haven't interviewed like quarterback coaches and stuff like that. They've been looking for like people that have been veteran play callers. But I also was going to touch on that. I think that he was building a good coaching staff. He kept Patrick Graham, and I like the Marvin Lewis like assistant coach just kind of be there. They were together at Arizona State together, so I do like the way he was building the coaching staff, and I have faith that the offense coordinator we are going to hire is going to be the right one. So I'll end there.
In the overall, if Kingsbury don't want to be there, fuck
Yeah,
him.
fuck
man.
that, dude.
him.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, dude. I
Fuck
ain't got
him.
time for
Yeah,
that
you're
shit.
goddamn right. I'm not chasing
I'm
nobody.
so fucking butthurt though. I called that shit, dude. I thought I was on point, and then I ended up calling where he was going after too. So I guess I'll take a. But fuck me, that sucks.
Well, GM Downey would have pitched it different, right? Like you would have had. I don't think
no
Mark
fucking
Davis.
way.
I don't think Mark Davis is a good salesman. I really don't.
Hey, Tom,
Just look at it.
Tommy Telesco, buddy.
Stop getting that goddamn bull haircut,
Hey,
bro. What is that?
Tommy, listen to me, buddy. I'm right here. I'm wearing it. Give me a call.
Send him an email. That's an Oakland Raiders. by
I
the way.
am going to. You can hire me on your staff. I'm not too expensive. I'll take. Dude, you guys fucking hire me, dude. I'll take whatever. But seriously, I'll be on your staff, dude. We can make this shit work, Tommy. I will get you
Give him
guys
a
on
chance.
top.
Give the man a chance.
I'm not kidding. I will get your roster pretty close on top.
So here's what we're doing. Moving forward every year until they email you back. Email them your draft picks, and then at the end of the year, you send them an update as to how good those players did.
Your draft picks.
Yeah, exactly.
This
There
is
you
what
go.
you missed.
There you go.
This is
Yeah,
what
you
got.
could have had GM Downey, and you shit the
I didn't
bed
need
year
a gym.
after
I just need
year
to be,
after year
I just need to be
after
on
year.
the staff. Just
Right.
put me on
Sure.
the staff. I'm like your co-consorter. I'm your fucking.
That's a
just
wonderful
consultant.
fandom.
I'm your
So,
fucking your common sense fucking.
There's
consorter.
some big questions on our coaching staffs. That's for sure, Downey. You know,
know,
moving
Charlie.
forward. So
And it's the most important.
the
coach
OC, the
that's-
OC, we
when you
both
have-
need them. It's true.
when you
Yeah,
have a
we're both
defensive
in
head
that,
coach,
that pond.
I
Yeah.
am not going to be done preaching this that you have to hit it out of the park with an OC. Otherwise,
I
you're
agree.
just a mediocre team.
Well-
Steelers.
Harper's
All right, let's get off the shade and wrap this bad boy up. So make
Yes,
sure you
please.
follow us on Spotify and Buzzsprout for the audio. If you're watching this video, you're definitely on YouTube, and we appreciate the hell out of that. Yeah,
Yes.
follow the X and Instagram for. We're gonna put on some bets and the beers, and this Choco Taco was or Choco Burrito. I'm sorry, was wonderful. Shout out,
Check us out next week because we're going to be all Super Bowl.
big Super
hella
Bowl
prop
breakdown.
bets, hella prop bets.
Love it.
Everything going along with that. Who knows how many prop bets we're going to make? We'll be
dive
bringing. Okay, we'll be bringing cash.
We
to
should
this.
run a lot of different props. I like it
We'll
because
check-
it should be cheap.
Yeah, we check you guys next week. Charles got to take a leak. See you
Excellent,
guys.
dude.
Oh, you knew it. I